Do you feel alive, or are you simply just living? A question I've posed to myself over the last couple of days, a question that I realised I posed to myself in 2017 while I was suffering with a brain tumour. A question that I wrote down, knowing that someday I would look back at it and answer that question, perhaps multiple times. I'll read you this little note now. It says, "What is the difference between living and being alive?" And what is the difference between living and being alive? I guess the purpose of this video is to get you thinking. It's to pose that question. Do you feel invigorated? Do you feel electric within your life? Or do you feel like you're just going through the motions and simply living? And I think it's an important one for us to ask ourselves. While I was suffering with a brain tumour, I had to get brain surgery. And I lay down on an operating table prior to having brain surgery, already pretty much at the end of my life at 25. And yeah, I had the beautiful experience of questioning what it is that I felt I should have done, what I shouldn't have done. And yeah, having had that experience, come through it and come out the other side, I've been trying my best to tick off the list of all the things that I want to do, to find purpose and meaning to life, so that the next time I get to my deathbed or an operating table or the end of my life, I won't sit back with any regrets. I will sit down knowing that I tried my best to fulfill my purpose here and to follow my dreams and follow my passions. And I guess that's what I'm asking you. Are you following your dreams? Are you following your passions? Do you feel like you are just simply existing, living within the societal constructs, feeling weighed down, feeling shackled, and feeling a lack of enthusiasm for life, a lack of purpose? And if that is the case, what are you going to do to fix that? That's what this video is about. I won't keep you too long. For me, I was always somebody who was afraid to be myself, afraid to be authentic, afraid to express myself, in fear of judgment, that the people around me would no longer accept me, that if I was to be myself and be authentic and do what I was supposed to do, that I would be criticized for that, whether that be through people that loved me or people from the internet. And so those feelings of shame kept me trapped in a cage as such. I always wanted to be a musician. I always wanted to create a YouTube channel. I always wanted to share my beliefs. I always wanted to try and help people, but I was trapped in a cage and I would never do any of those things unless I was highly intoxicated. Then I would sing. Then I would have these deep discussions with people. And having had the experience that I've told you about already, coming back from that difficult situation of suffering with a brain tumour and having brain surgery and trying to recover, I've spent the last 8 years trying my best to follow the path that I would feel like I'm resonating with, and to find purpose here, to play the music, to make the YouTube channel, to help people. And right now I'm at a stage where, this year it has really elevated. I started a business after my illness, which was most certainly not resonating with me, but I was afraid that perhaps I would not get back to a state of health that was pragmatic and, efficient enough to get what I needed to get done here. So I hurried into a business and tried to make as much money as possible, and that all crumbled. And I've spoken about this many times, so I don't have to go into it deeply, but I feel like if we choose a path that doesn't truly resonate with us, then it's going to make us unhappy. And if we're unhappy on that path, then most likely we'll be using behavioral patterns and chemicals and different things to distract us from the fact that we're actually unhappy on the path that we're on. And so it took me a long, long time to recognize this. It took me a lot of burnout. It took me a lot of collapse financially, spiritually, emotionally, physically, to get to a point where I had nothing. I was at a rock bottom, and then I could build from there. And it's a beautiful thing when you find yourself in a position in life where you have nothing and you are so low with no money, with no nothing, but you still have life and you still have an opportunity to build from there. And it's a beautiful thing. So if you find yourself in that situation right now, just know that it's very common, and I've been there. And whilst I'm absolutely not financially stable and I still have to work a full-time job, right now at this very moment, there is elements of feeling alive within my life. I've started to play music on stage this year because I've needed to do that for a long time. I've started this YouTube channel and I'm doing it full time as well as my job, and certain elements of my life now allow me to feel alive. But also, while I'm working full time, I feel like I'm falling back into the cycle of, oh, I'm just living here and this is going nowhere. And that's enough about me. That's currently where I'm at. I'm building my way towards feeling alive and invigorated full time, or at least most of the time. I feel like we'll never feel invigorated all day, every day, as we live in duality, and sometimes we need to be on the other side of those things in order to find healing, find all of the triggers that we're trying to dissolve. And sometimes we just need to rest, so we can't just be invigorated all of the time. But back to you. You know, the world, society, it's not set up to allow us to fulfill our dreams very easily, because we need to work to live. We need to make money to survive, to feed our families, to feed ourselves, to keep ourselves warm, to keep the bills paid, keep the roof over the head. And it's very difficult then to even have the energy to think about your passions, to think about your dreams, to think about what you want. And thus you end up in this cycle, this loop of going to work, getting the bills paid, keeping the children fed, keeping warm, and then dissipating into rest to try and build up enough energy to continue the cycle. And all of a sudden years go by and we feel regret and we feel guilt and shame. And I think it's important for us to give ourselves the space to at least think about what it is that we want to do here. I would always say, and I say this in a lot of videos too, to write down what it is that you want to do in a diary. Bring your dreams and your passions and your thoughts into this reality by writing them down in here, in this physical space. You could call it manifestation. If you didn't want to use a word like that, you could say you're bringing your thoughts into reality. And then it's about believing that this is possible and that this will happen. Not just thinking about it, but truly believing, truly resonating with that future version of you from your heart, from your soul, and building a stepping stone pathway in order for you to get there. Now, I'm not going to tell you what it is that you want to do. You should know that. And if you don't know that, explore. Go for some walks on your own, devoid of your phone, devoid of any music. Allow your brain to tell you what it is that you love to do here. Write as much as you can with regards to yourself. Not necessarily what you need to do, but maybe what you've been through. Some of the things that are blocking you from being yourself. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, are you afraid of the judgment of the people around you? Are you afraid of the judgment of the people on the internet if you be yourself? Is there parts of you that are protecting you from being yourself to keep you safe? That are afraid of developing a new identity because it's foreign to them? It's worth thinking about, and it's worth writing down, and it's worth planning your future. You know, if you're stuck in a job right now that you do not like, can you do something else? What is it that you're passionate about? What would make you feel invigorated? What would make you feel alive? Can you get there? Do you believe that you can get there? What are the stepping stones that would help you? I can give you examples. You know, I started this YouTube channel 8 years ago, but I stopped after 4 videos. And then I began about last year, sometime around this time, maybe 8-9 months ago, I began again. At the time, I had an old camera. I had no skills whatsoever with regards to YouTube, with regards to social media. I had a full-time job and I was almost burnt out as is. So I needed to create stepping stones to get to where I am. So I had to reduce my hours in work. So now I still work a full-time job, just a little bit less. I had to move into a house with my partner, who we were dating at the time, from separate houses, so that I could bring everything under one roof. That would alleviate more space. I had to stop going to the pub because I was wasting time in there. I had to stop watching content as such because I needed to create content. And as I started to create more time, then I started to use that time to get better at what I'm doing. And then I just consistently rolled out videos, and it makes me very passionate. I'm not making any money from it right now, so feel free to subscribe. It would help me. It's free to do so. And yeah, the more we get, the easier it will be for me in the future to make some money from this passion and to continue trying to help people and help the world and build this beautiful community, Symbiotic Vibration, a blissful, growing community of souls that just want to feel connected, want to help each other. You know, it began as a project for me to try and help people who are suffering to connect with one another. But now it's really just turning into a space for humanity to connect, to feel compassion towards one another and to support one another's journeys, whether that is suffering or whether that's just simply life itself, looking for some like-minded souls, a symbiotic vibration, if you will. And yeah, you know, my stepping stones are still very much at the first bricks of the wall as such. If you want to talk about building a foundation, already I've taken the next brick. I've brought this into the physical world. I got on stage recently, I played some music, I tried to help people in the physical. And eventually there will be more things, you know, there'll be festivals, there'll be probably a retreat long in the future, there'll probably be podcasts or interviews with others who are suffering or who need to share their own story or think that their story might have something positive for humanity in the future. Hopefully I will get to the point where I have a book and I sell a book and I sell some merchandise and I have a website with a newsletter and so on and so forth. And we build out and we build out and we build out and we build out. And eventually, hopefully I can make some money through this so that I can leave my job and then give myself all of my time. And then when I have all of that time, I can use that money to invest back into symbiotic vibration so that we can eventually hopefully have our own location, our own retreat, our own festivals, and yeah, so on and so forth. More books and more music and more equipment, and yeah, then as much help towards humanity as physically possible while I still breathe here. And those are the stepping stones, and I've written them down since I was ill, and I believe in them, I resonate with them, I know they're coming, and they will come. But it's not easy. I have to work full time while I'm doing all of this. I've had to eradicate a lot of behavioral patterns. I've had to adjust my life dramatically, and that meant losing some friends. That meant losing some patterns that I was really enjoying, watching sports and drinking alcohol and just distracting myself and having fun while I lived here, which is great. But it's a road to nowhere for me. I have to pursue these passions, I have to pursue these goals, and that's what I'm going to do. And so I hope that by me explaining what I'm doing, it might give you a sense of guidance. It might give you some hope with regards to perhaps sitting down and identifying what it is that your purpose is here and what you would like to do and how you are going to do that, and if you believe in that, and if perhaps you are dealing with shame or guilt or fears with regards to being yourself or stepping onto a new path. Hopefully you'll be able to identify that. Perhaps you need some help with dissolving that. Symbiotic vibration is always here. I'm always here. You can leave some questions in the comment section if you want. You can direct message me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You can send an email to me if you need some advice. That's not me saying I'm going to charge you. Just simply, I'll be there at all times and I will get back to you as quick as I can. And yeah, I think that's it for this morning. I hope this video helped. It was ad hoc. I didn't have much prepared. I just felt like chatting about this subject because I saw somebody on Instagram post something similar recently, and it brought back this diary entry that I'd forgotten about, so I felt like it would make a good video. So yeah, I'll leave it at that, everybody. I love you all. I hope you have a beautiful day, and we'll see you next time. And happy existence. You know, you can do this. I believe in you. We all believe in you here at Symbiotic Vibration. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Goodbye.